I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Eileen Mendel on the line, and she's the CEO over at the Balanced Millionaire. Eileen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam.
So I'm excited to get into what you're doing over at the Balanced Millionaire and how you're helping your clients. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in your career and in business?
Well, I actually never had my own businesses in the past, which I really have found more rewarding than working in a corporate environment. I also like the fact that I grew up in a entrepreneurial family, and my dad would always say, I'd ask him oftentimes, why do you have your own business? And he said, he doesn't have to be under the control of anybody else. He has freedom to do and go in anywhere he wants to with his business and be as creative as he possibly can. And he was pretty creative in his business. So I loved that opportunity to be free and to expand who I am, my potential. And so, you know, I got my college degrees in traditional colleges. I went to Wesleyan University. I went to University of Rochester and studied pharmacology for a few years. And then I also went to MIT to study business. And I've been working with businesses and in businesses for over 30 years.
Wow, that's awesome. And love your background. You kind of were, some people say they were born into it. You were definitely born into it. So with your dad being an entrepreneur and kind of had that, or those early influences, what kind of advice would you give to that new entrepreneur that's maybe kind of just getting started? They might be a year or two out of college. I mean, what kind of advice would you give them on really getting started with their first entrepreneurial venture?
Well, number one is if you can find a role model that, follow that role model, even when you're, in high school, or, and through college, just as an aside, keep watching, and it's very, very easy to do these days, using your computer and following people that you admire. And, it could be anybody from Bill Gates to, some of the young entrepreneurs, like themselves, who have done very well in establishing companies at the forefront of digital technology or social media, whatever it is, it could be environmental issues, whatever it is, follow those people that you admire and think about what attributes could you bring to the table and develop those attributes, because you're never going to be able to do it all alone. So you want to kind of get to know yourself. That's the best thing. Find out what your real skills are, and you'll find out somewhat, through school, but also when you get out in the real world, work for a while. I would say work for a while for a company that will allow you the latitude to take on different projects and skill sets so you know what you're good at. And then go forward. If you have a great idea, whether it be a service or a product, you have to overcome the fear of going out on your own, but start moving in those directions even while you're employed. Sort of do the informational interviews, test out the market. That's easy to do too because we have the internet. So you can use social media or your peer group to find out, is this something viable?
That's awesome. I love that advice. And I think that's a great transition. Let's get into, Eileen, let's get into the Balanced Millionaire. So tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Well, originally I called it Inner Edge International because at the time, I was at I would say a transition in the way I looked at life, realizing that if you don't level up your skill set, you'll never be able to get to that, to where you want to go. So that required, joining different workshops, getting coaching, really investing in myself. I'm not talking about, just regular school, traditional school and colleges.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about getting out there and joining the groups, getting the mentors that have already been there and done that, and learning as much as you can and applying those things so that you can level up your own be at your highest potential. And that is something that I really felt passionate about. And I also felt like being inside a company is a little bit constraining, constraining and constricting, because you have to conform to the job title and culture that you're surrounded by, and also whatever the company rules and regulations are. So my thought is, if you can either start your own company as an entrepreneur, or be a business owner, let's say take over even a restaurant or whatever, traditional type of business, you have more freedom to make it into what you envision it to be. And if you're already an executive, and particularly in a startup, you can have some power, or empower yourself to actually help build that, a small or mid-sized company, because I think that's when you have the attitude of power and the openness in a smaller company to make it into something that goes beyond what it was before, into something that flourishes and is standing for something. But you also have to be passionate in order to be successful and make money and enjoy what you're doing. You have to be passionate about it. It can't be just about making money. That'll flop. And it can't be about, the product itself or the market. That'll flop. So you have to understand the marketplace. You have to understand what skill sets you can bring to the table, how you want your company to feel, the culture you create, and also a vision for how you want to grow your company. Who's your customer? Do you want to be just local, or do you want to be international or nationwide? You have to have some begin with the end in mind, sort of, things that are going on in terms of what you really want. And you have to not do things because somebody else, your competitor, is doing it. It's because you want that yourself. You want that so badly that you're willing to, whatever it is, to make some sacrifices, be uncomfortable to get there. And that's what the Balanced Millionaire is all about. It's about what you want, identifying that, and even if your competition's doing something else, you just need to be so authentic enough, whether it's developing some kind of widget or service, that it is going to represent who the company is, who you are, and your overall long-term vision for the company. And that means also that you want to create an atmosphere that's fun and also inspirational and creative, and that's where the balance comes in.
And so, Eileen, there's some people listening right now. I mean, it's new year, brand new start of the year. We're just starting into February, and some of them are looking for coaches and other ways to take their business to the next level. So just so they know if they're the right type of client to call you, what are the types of clients and or niches that you like working with?
Okay, so I'll tell you what I don't want. I don't want individuals that are skeptical or fearful, or just plain not willing to put the work in. But what I do want is those individuals, whether they've already started a company or they have such a big vision that they're willing to do what it takes to bring it to fruition, to manifest it. And I know I don't like to use the word manifest because I think it's overused, but when you have a certain idea, you have to stick to, you can't run all over the place and do this and do that and do that, get distracted. You need to stay focused. You need to, have a step-by-step plan and move forward every single day to make progress towards what it is. So my mentor calls the dream life that you want. Because you're never going to get there if you rely on, let's chase after this, let's chase after that and see if it works.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing darts, it just doesn't work. You've got to have some kind of idea of where you're going. Just like traveling, navigating where you're going, and you want to know, step by step, how are you going to get there in, what capacity is it going to be, bringing on certain people, maybe being part of certain networking groups. How are you going to get there? And that's, that's really what the advice is that I would give. And, just
Eileen,
stay focused, passionate about what you're doing.
So if somebody's listening to this and they do want more information on the Balanced Millionaire or to connect with you, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Can go to my website, www.thebalancedmillionaire.com. They can also sign up on the website to be in my database, where I can send them materials through email. But also we have a Facebook page. I also have a LinkedIn page, and now an Instagram page. So they can follow me in all those ways. And also listen to my podcast, The Balanced Millionaire, which airs live every other Wednesday and at 6 p.m. PST. And they can also tune in and become a guest if they think they have something interesting to tell the audience, which is very valuable and where we all can learn.
Awesome. Well, hey, Eileen, really thank you for coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great things you're doing over at your podcast and the Balanced Millionaire and all that great stuff you're doing to help entrepreneurs and executives really grow their business. So thank you for that. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review. If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, Money Matters Top Tips, then leave us some comments in the comment section. Let us know about what you think about the conversation, and happy to have Eileen kind of answer some of those and get to know you better also. So love that. And Eileen, thanks again for coming on the show.
It was my pleasure, Adam.